Hey guys, what's happening? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. So, as you all know, I don't know if you all know, but probably some of you may know that Subnautica 2 has come out in early access, and so far the game is looking fantastic. I can't actually play the game myself, so I've been resorting back to watching Jacksepticeye play the game because he is the king of Subnautica, in my opinion. I enjoyed the first playlist of Subnautica 1. It was a really fun playlist to binge watch and stuff. So that was really great. So I wanted to like get back into it and get back into Subnautica. So I'm playing Subnautica a little bit more in the background as well. Like I am currently I'm playing Hollow Knight and Subnautica. So yeah, I'm playing two games at the same time. I'm also watching One Piece as well. So there's a lot going on in my free time, which I don't have so much of. So I also need to find time to like draw and stuff. So which is where this came in. I was completely lost for ideas of like what to draw next. Um, and I also kind of need to build up my portfolio a little bit if I ever wanted. If I ever want to actually get into the industry, so it's high time that I actually start building up to something of this nature, and it was a perfect, moment. It was a perfect idea to actually just try and make a Leviathan class creature for Subnautica because obviously Leviathan class creatures are amazing additions into the Subnautica game environment and game ecosystem. They were back when they were added in the beginning as well. They're like the most iconic part of the game. Um, and just I just love making creature designs. If you don't know, this actually you could, if you look at the first like two videos that I've uploaded in this channel itself, you can see that creature design is what I enjoy doing a lot more than like normal environment designs or like character designs and stuff like that. But I'm actually getting a lot more into characters and environments and all that kind of stuff as well. But I actually wanted to show how I was working with this particular illustration in this video, basically. So, I wanted to create a Leviathan class creature that was like very unique and like haven't been seen before. I don't actually know if this kind of a design has been used in like a mod or something, but I wanted to try going for a sea turtle kind of a look, the hawk build sea turtle kind of a look. But if you saw the video in the beginning and was not just listening to my yapping, which hopefully that's what you guys actually did, you could have seen that I actually did not start out anything like an actual hawk build turtle at all. It was a completely different design. Because I didn't have the hawkbill turtle in mind. As the design progressed, I wanted to make it less um, generic, and that's where going with the hawkbill design actually came into being. Throughout this entire design, by the way, I'm using a single brush called the round spectral brush, which is a brush that I created off of another brush called a spectra, which was like a brick like textured brush. And it was a really nice brush, but the problem with it that was that it was too textured, and it was textured in a very natural, traditional sort of way, and I did not want that because it wasn't blending the way that I wanted it to. I just wanted it to be a normal like brush that just had a texture to it, but I didn't want it to be blending in like a traditional kind of a way. So I had to duplicate that brush and like just make it work with the opacity controls, which were connected to the pressure sensitivity. But there was a much simpler way to do it. I just had to like duplicate a normal round brush that was controlled by the pressure opacity and then just add a texture to it. So instead of doing that, I went a roundabout way to make this brush. But the thing is, that brush is way too old. I made it back when I was just getting kind of started with Procreate as well. So it was a very old brush. So I didn't really know how to make brushes back then. Anyways, it's a huge tangent there. Anyways, forgive me if you can hear some kind of howling in the background. I'm recording this in a different day. Unfortunately, in my place, I live in Japan right now, and there's a typhoon going on. So there'll be a bunch of howling or wind kind of sound. So please forgive me if you can hear that stuff. I guess I'll talk about how I'm like coloring this particular image right now. Obviously, this is an image that was not completely meant to be like a splash art piece. It was also supposed to be a little bit of a like a concept art piece where I'm also showing the design of this creature. I wanted to show a little bit of its body, and not a little bit, a lot of its body, almost all of it, if I could possibly do that. It's mostly symmetrical, so any of the designs that are on one side should pretty much be the same thing that's on the other side. Other than specific details and stuff like that. When you take a look at the colors that are already there in like the Leviathans that are present in Subnautica, there's a variety of different colors for them. Everything ranging from greens to purples to reds as well. For example, the Reaper Leviathan has red and white as its main color scheme, which I think it's very very haunting. Underwater, it's a very rare color scheme to be found underwater. I think the color design was actually inspired by the oarfish, which in real life, even though it's not necessarily harmful to human beings, it's a very terrifying creature to look at. Apparently, in certain countries, it's considered to be kind of a warning sign against warning sign for natural disasters and stuff like that. Apparently, if it comes ashore, because it's a very deep sea fish, so if it comes ashore to the shallow depths, apparently that's a warning sign of disaster. And that's kind of scientific uh, as well, not like mythical or like folklore or anything of that sort. So for this particular turtle creature Leviathan, I wanted to have a kind of a unique kind of a design. It needed to look definitely very intimidating and very big and very scary, but at the same time I did not actually want to give it an intentionally scary look, because intentionally scary color, if you will, because I also want it to be like just a part of nature in a sense. I don't want it to stand out way too much, which is why I chose to go with like a purple, because I think it blends well with the water as well. And as an opposite color to balance it out, there's a little bit of like a yellow in the beak and certain design areas as well. There's like a very desaturated yellow that kind of balances out the purple, like indigo-ish, bluish kind of a design. So I think it looks purple because the surrounding is relatively green. It's actually very very blue as compared to purple. That's pretty much it for the color. As for like the lighting, it was just top down. Obviously, since it's underwater, the light comes from the top, and the bottom will be in the shadow. And I used a lot of lines to render out the details, like the scales and things like that, because that's very natural. Even in real life, if you look at your fingerprints or scales on lizards and stuff like that, it's very much. It takes this form it looks like dried lava. If you've seen that, it looks like that. So I wanted to kind of use its very easy way to get in details as well. This is something that is heavily used by an artist named Ranjia. He's a Chinese concept artist, and his artwork is just god tier. This is a trick that he uses. Obviously, I haven't done anywhere close to the amount of perfection that he does. But yeah, that is what I use for getting in the details. Essentially, the background is not supposed to have this much detail showing because it's relatively deep water. It looks very shallow. There was an awesome paint over done by an artist that I really like named Istabrak on this particular painting. She made it look way better, and I'll put it up on the screen how her paint over looks. So there's a lot of things that I learned from that as well. But by the end, just to get to this particular image, I just increased the contrast a lot using curves. That really makes the image really pop like this. So that's pretty much the end of like how I painted it. And yeah, so actually I'll put up a comparison on how Istabrak painted over it as well, and I think it looks amazing. So yeah, thank you so much for watching until now. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. I'm so sorry if there was any quality problems with this video. I'm trying to put out videos on a more regular basis, but things happen, and it's a little more difficult. But yeah, I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much, and yes, that's it. Bye. Subscribe, like, comment, whatever.